Hi everyone, and welcome to another edition of Seal of Approval. And this week I'm joined with my co-host as always, Mr. Scrump.
Yes,
how are you today?
I am here. Here is where I am. I'm pretty good actually. We're having an insane amount of thunderstorms, like 2 or 3 a day here, but I'm making it, doing the normal stuff that we all seem to be doing at the moment.
The
now that
normal
nobody
Scrump.
Oh, everyone can kind of leave the house, but not really.
Yeah.
Everyone's a bit confused. So I'm sitting here watching the lightning roll by a lot of the time, which is actually kind of cool. So yes.
I think we're about to have our second thunderstorm in London of the day. So, if you can kind of hear that in the background, then that's what that is. Also got 2 new guests joining Seal of Approval and just generally my channel in particular. So first of all is Mitch. How are you today?
I am fine. How are you?
I am good. And my second guest is actually a close friend of mine from the real world, not just the internet, and that is Chloe, or Proper Horrorshow, as she's being known as. How are you?
Hey y'all, really good to be on stream, and Chloe is absolutely fine. Proper Horrorshow is a mouthful.
Yeah, it would be quite awkward to say, but yeah,
you
Chloe
could shorten
is
it to Pro Ho. But
Pro Ho.
Yeah, that's not the branding I want.
Yeah, that makes you sound like you're in a way, yeah.
Imagine if you can't say your R's. Proper Horrorshow.
I actually kind of like that as a name. Pro Ho.
Pro Ho Chloe? Should that be my Twitter handle?
No, are you Pro Ho or are you a Pro Ho?
The Pro Ho.
I thrive on such legal ambiguities.
Anyway, we got a couple of stories lined up for this week. Some of them spicier than others. We're probably going to go straight into the spiciest story that we have so far, which I don't know whether anyone has paid attention to Twitter over the last 24 hours, but it appears that basically every kind of black mascot for a brand is being cancelled.
Yes, I was a bit spicy. I described it as it's like the lynching of the black mascots all in one day. There's the brands are having their own rope. It's only for the black mascots apparently.
I've got Uncle Ben in my attic.
It's the strangest thing. So it all I think the first thing that it kind of started as was this. Why go away, stupid thing. So Coco Pops. You had Fiona Onasaya, who I think
criminal.
Yeah, basically it's the criminal MP who's trying to get some further relevance for herself.
Disgraced former MP.
Disgraced ex-Labour MP. You really need better ad block there. That's terrible.
I know.
It's cancer.
The problem is my
there comes the 5-0 for us.
Well, I live in central London, so we get the police rozzing past like that several times a day. The ad blocker I have doesn't actually work with the Daily Mail. It flips out whenever you kind of switch it on. But so this is not readable at all.
Excuse you, Origin. Get on some sort of Chromium fork like I've got and get uBlock Origin started. It works perfect.
Yeah, I do need to get something better. Anyway, Fiona Onasaya, who became quite famous last year because getting sent to jail and still being a Labour MP, has tried to find a new way of being relevant, which is flipping out over Rice Krispies and Coco Pops. Actually started off with a real Karen action of as you're yet to reply to my email, Coco Pops and Rice Krispies have the same composition, except for the fact Coco Pops are brown and chocolate flavored. So I was wondering why Rice Krispies are 3 white boys representing the brand and Coco Pops have a monkey. First of all, they're not 3 white boys; they're little elves.
They're elves.
They're elves. The little elves.
They're adult elves. They live adult elf lives. They have adult elf responsibilities. Okay?
They live in a tree.
Don't demean them like that.
Like keeping their kids out of crime.
Yeah.
They live in a tree. And But so, well, I don't quite know what to like. It's such a stretch. Like, it's someone who hasn't been relevant for like the last year, has seen all the kind of outrage going on, and then she's trying to jump in by trying to kind of work a race angle into something where there isn't. And like, as a lot of people have pointed out, there's white chocolate Coco Pops as well.
And he's the mascot for that as well.
Yeah, he's the same mascot, yeah.
And can I just say, if you see a black person in a monkey or an ape or anything like that, I think it's you that has the problem, because there's no human features of, what's he called again? Is he just called Coco the monkey?
Yeah, he's Coco the Mon.
There's a solution. There's a solution to all of this. You just need to no. Tempting, but no. No, you just need to diversify the Rice Krispie team. You can have Snap, Crackle, and Tyrone.
Is that what they want with all this stuff? It's like, oh, we
Snap.
I got a better one.
Snap, Crackle, and Brap.
I got a better one. I've got one. Snap, Crackle, and Glock.
Oh, God.
Are we skipping over the entire option of Rice Crips? You know? No?
The dad jokes are, and all of you may notice Count Dankula himself has joined us. So hide your traps and steal your Pringles cans.
Oh, fuck's sake.
Just a thought. Does this mean Fiona Onsanya is a serial offender?
Hey.
Oh, God. We need to have like dad joke bands on there.
Damn it. Chloe.
You know what you're doing
I
when
bring
you
you on.
me
I bring you on. Dave, look at me to all my friends. Basically just dad jokes.
Yeah, we're just currently talking about the lynching of all the black mascots, presumably all in one day. I imagine, I don't know if the corporate residences went on a pickup truck or not, but that's kind of what it feels like. They're rounding up all the. It's just the optics of this are so weird, because we'll go over it in a sec, because someone did start out as a bit questionable. Some of the adverts in the 30s and 40s were a bit spicy and had some rather wordy ebonics on them, let's say. Let
me see if I can find the there was the what's it called, the cream of wheat one, like where it kind of had like.
I mean, there used to be a jam jar with like a gollywog on it back in the day, right?
Yeah, that was golden something, wasn't it? I think they now have Paddington. I think they've now replaced the gollywog with Paddington Bear. If it's the one I'm thinking of. And we have a lot of history, I guess, racist branding here in the UK, but my mind was blown when I realized the whole gollywog thing came from a Noddy story, where he drives through the wrong neighborhood and they steal his car. wait, what?
What? Do you guys not know about that?
No, I don't.
No.
I watched 90s Noddy.
You don't know about Noddy and the gollywogs?
I watched Noddy when I was a little kid. Like the little stop motion Noddy cartoon. Like, I know that there's a I think there's Mrs. Tubby Bear or something as one of the only other characters that I remember. I didn't know there was like a neighborhood of gollywogs.
Okay, this is a real. This isn't a meme. This is I put it linked it to my Discord. But seriously, they steal his car.
Okay, right. Let me put this on.
Oi, bruv, where are you driving?
You know about this? I didn't know about this.
I genuinely do not remember. Wait. Oh no! Oh no! No!
Do you not remember this thing?
No, I think I'm too.
Three black faces suddenly appeared in the light of the car's lamps. Jesus Christ!
That is bad.
Noddy story.
That is. How? When was that published?
That must be about or something.
I think it was. I'm not actually sure.
In fairness, Noddy is wearing blue and red. That is sending out confusing signals.
I guess he's not wearing.
You've got to declare an allegiance.
He's in the wrong neighborhood.
That's right. We just don't know.
The next episode, Noddy finds out that Enoch Powell was right.
The next image is them, like, they beat him up and steal his car. They nick his hat too.
What? What?
Hey,
No, wait a second. Oh my God, you're right. Yeah.
Hey, question for you all. What's 30% of the population and commits 50% of all the violent crime?
Yeah, I'm going to say, Noddy's talking about FBI crime stats now.
Oh
But
my
yes,
God,
anyway.
right.
Able Street.
My
That
point
is-
is the past was racist.
That is
the present
that is
isn't
bad.
as racist.
Like Britain just seems to have this weird history of like twee racism.
It's very
Like if that makes sense. Like it's not like you would kind of have the real overt kind of racist stereotypes that you'd get in America, but a lot of it just seems to be worked into kid stuff. Like this.
The Famous Five was notoriously racist.
Oh God, the famous five stuff.
Like what was so bad about Famous Five?
It's just the language she used to describe certain ethnicities, right? I think.
Really?
There's some very choice descriptors of people
Yes.
of, let's say, ethnic backgrounds in the
Yes.
in the famous. Oh, we've lost Dank.
Mm.
In the famous five.
Novels as well.
Jesus Christ, I can't get over that. Like, do they at least become friendly in the end? Is there like the good gollywog or something, or are they all bastards?
No, I think in the end they go back and they like apologize, and it's a story about not stealing. But yeah, no, they are like the bad guys of that book.
That is horrifying.
Oh,
It's
I
actually kind of it's a running theme throughout Enid Blyton's work, like not just the Famous Five and the Secret Seven, but also the feisty 13%.
My dad, like, he's old enough to be. He's like old enough to be when like gollywogs were like normal. And there's an old picture of him when he was like about 4 or 5. There's a gollywog right behind him. It's like a little.
They were quite normal. And I kind of agree those were rather insensitive. But just like I said, we've moved on since then. That has not been appropriate for 2 decades now, at least.
I don't think it's even the worst thing that ever came out of that time as well. I don't think they're even meant to be human, right? They're not.
Gollywogs.
They're like, they're dolls, but they're meant to.
They're dolls, but they're dolls, but they're meant. Yeah, they're clearly based on black people.
Mm.
Like, it's kind of hard to argue that they're not.
When are they going to go after the jazz singer? With
Which jazz singer?
Val Jolson. Because he used to dress up in blackface. You not heard of Val Jolson?
That was the original one, and they've already. To be fair, that's already relatively well known as the classic example.
But the thing is, they'll go after him. They'll get that removed from Netflix or whatever it is, even though it's historically relevant and significant as the first sound film. And then they'll say, "Oh, it's racist because he's in blackface," even though he was a civil rights activist.
It's weird because the jazz singer is a seminal picture, and so is like Birth of a Nation because of its use of certain cinematic techniques. Oh, it is. It's actually. It's
no, you're right.
To
Yeah,
cinema, but
you're right.
You know what's weird about the guy who directed that? The guy who directed that later on would make anti-racist films.
Yes. It just proves that Hollywood likes where money is, really, and that's kind of it.
Broken Blossoms is one. It has a white man playing an Asian, and he falls in love with a white girl who's abused by her dad. Yeah, it's quite a sad story, but it was meant to, help with race relations. But that would be
anyway.
It's like
we've also had we don't really have Aunt Jemima's here in the UK, which was one of the first brands I know it was trying in America to change its name. That's a brand of, isn't it like pancake mix or syrup?
Yeah, well,
Aunt Jemima's.
I think. Oh no, I'm thinking of Betty Crocker. Like you will find Aunt Jemima's normally in. If you go to an American aisle of a supermarket, that's where you'll find Aunt Jemima. It's kind of, it's basically like Betty Crocker. So it's, let me just pull this up. So Aunt Jemima it's basically like pancake mixes, cake mixes. You get like chocolate sauces, all of that kind of stuff. And so like the picture on the left, I think is like one of their first adverts. And
it did have some slight racial overtones there. With the hands. But
yeah, she just reminds me of like the women from like the old Tom and Jerry cartoons.
Oh yeah,
Thomas.
Like they were surprisingly common in like the like the old kind of like cartoons from the 30s. Like there's a Pluto cartoon with like that exact same Mammy character from Tom and Jerry, who like beats up Pluto, which is just really, really weird. But it just seems it's like the same kind of thing. Like you can't see her face, and like she's a housekeeper for someone else, and she beats up the animal.
You see, what's interesting is if that was made today, she'd be Mexican or something.
No, Thomas no home. No, he no home. Clean. But yeah, what's annoyed me, I was making a joke about it before we came on air. I didn't realize this actually happened, but they did actually come for Uncle Ben. Uncle Ben to change the branding now, and I was surprised by that. I didn't think Uncle Ben's would actually do it, but nope. Uncle Ben, he's on the pile too.
I just find it more impressive that the biggest, most well-known seller of rice in the world is a black guy. Yeah.
That was great irresponsibility.
Get wrecked, Chicoms.
Oh god. They're going to replace him with Filthy Frank from that Rice Field sketch. Welcome to the Rice Field.
Welcome to the Rice Fields, nigga.
That sounds to me.
Oh, God. I can't, because Uncle Ben, I'm sure Uncle Ben has always been really wholesome as well. Like, it genuinely just seems to be an attack on any brand which has a black mascot.
I don't get it. Like, I would think that if you've chosen a person to be your mascot, that means that you approve of it and you think it's excellent and lovely. And if you're using a black person as part of your marketing, that means that you view black people like positively. Yeah. I don't get it.
I think it's to do with connotations, like it's traditional. What does it make you think of? Family, things like that. What do they not like? BLM, the family. That's what it's about. It's about attacking cultural symbols and institutions and things like that.
I think Mitch is dead on the money. Like I can't find the Cosby Show anymore. It's like there's no representation. Has anyone seen that?
I don't really remember the Cosby Show. I had a drink and then I don't really remember much.
My memory's gone fuzzy. I woke up in that car boot and it's.
You were sleepy in the jingly ring.
Hey. Get out of my boot.
You'd never hear a BLM person praise Uncle Phil now, do you?
That is true.
Right-wing hero, as they say on Twitter.
Like, have you seen the cream of wheat guy? Like cream of. I think cream of wheat is just like a porridge or something, but it's literally just a black chef. Like that's all it is.
Like back in the 1930s, it was a bit more racist, but he's literally he's a smiling black chef.
Yeah,
apparently that's the move now.
He looks like a level 100 Mr. Clean. Jesus Christ.
I just want them to replace them all with just low angle glass, strong jawed Aryans, from propaganda images. That's fine. Are you happy now? Are you guys happy now? As your food mascots?
Now, I don't know if any of you watch any of the Comicsgate stuff, but your boy Zach, or Diversity in Comics as he used to be, he mentioned that one of the characters, Luke Cage, Cage, he used to be darker and he used to have an afro and he used to be dead, tough and aggressive and things like that. He was the good guy you wanted to see beat up everybody. Well, now he's like this bald. He's like a suburban. I mean, okay, he's a family man and all that. I mean, the other guy didn't have to be, but whatever. But he's also bald and lighter. They've made him lighter and more meek and weak. And they said that and he goes to this tough, masculine man.
Blackula with it.
Yeah. And then apparently they always draw they have these shots, these two spread shots of all the gang together. The black guys are always at the back, hulking over everybody else in this weird way. Like, are you trying to tell me you guys are not racist? We've made somebody laugh. I mean,
I don't know. I don't know if you're here when we said it, Dank, but we described this as the lynching of the mascots. What are your thoughts on this? Just complete replacement of. We don't know what we're going to change them into yet.
I see this as the erasure of black people from merchandise. I see this as capitalists, big greedy fucking capitalists, and the big corporations from their yachts saying, "Oh, that's fantastic. We've been looking for an excuse to get rid of that." Rid of that for fucking ages, right? And it just seems like erasure. That's what it seems like to me. Like, what if a black man actually starts a company and he becomes like the next Colonel Sanders or something like that? Right? Is he not allowed to put his face on his fucking product?
I would buy fried chicken from Big Man Tyrone. That is a face I would trust
because you know he's done it better.
I can love to. But there's been some good memes about this too.
Oh god! Let me put on my favorite one. I think that's.
Yes.
Oh my god!
It's now Antifa, which I think is.
I probably shouldn't have started with that one because that's the best one. There's also Aunt Karen.
Yeah, Aunt Karen was trending like #1 in the US this morning because they're saying it's been done by Karens, and so they should. Karen ruins it once again. I need to get my there's like the man behind the curtain, and it's like Dare Karen behind every post. Dare Karen.
Oh god, it's it's just kind of weird as well that this all comes after all the brands were kind of like groveling to everyone, kind of like no one was even asking for them to do so, but they were like, the black picture, the white text, the at brands we really care about racism. You can guarantee that all of these brands took part in that. And it didn't save them at all. Like it just seemed to have made them more of a target than anything else.
See when the mob, as everyone's calling it, like fucking comes for you, it is the equivalent of a fucking mad, rabid fucking dog. Just because you sit there and go, "Good boy, that's a nice doggy," doesn't mean that it's not going to fucking maul you anyway. Like Wendy's, we are donating $500,000 to Black Lives Matter, and then like fucking a week later, like BLM fucking burnt the restaurant down.
Well, clearly the Wendy's shot. You got shot by the Wendy's. The building did it.
The best one is when they're like clapping them at the window, and then the window gets smashed. It's like, we're on your side.
We're on your side.
We're on your side. The microcosm of the whole situation. I loved it.
That's what you get for playing beer song when you're not even having a party and it's just the two of you fucking sad little fuckers.
It's weird timing on this. Like, is anyone talking about how many more times is BLM going to disrupt Pride?
Oh god, yeah.
Is this just like part of the manifesto that hasn't been revealed? Because they just keep shutting down Pride.
I keep on forgetting about that. Because they shut down. It's Toronto, isn't it? At least Toronto,
Edmonton twice.
Yeah, that was the stupidest one because that was when they demanded that cops don't not to show up, and they held up the entire parade. And then eventually, I think it was Edmonton, where they said like, "Yeah, you're right. You feel threatened by the police. The police will not be welcome next year." And then next year they didn't turn up anyway. So they basically just said, "Don't invite this person," and then they just never bothered again. They got their way.
Well, they insisted on not having police protection. I think this was after like all the mass shootings with Pulse and stuff like that, and they were saying that they shouldn't have police protection, which was absolutely batshit. I think this is a good tack to take. It's like, wow, how could you people be doing this during Pride Month? It's like make the gay fight agenda fight the Black Lives Matter agenda.
Well, the left can't admit that there's actually a lot of tension within the progressive stat because they're all fighting each other. So, like the Muslims and the gays, for example, in Birmingham, like they were fighting each other, even though they're meant to be allied, because the left has grouped everybody who's a minority or some kind of group together, when actually they haven't got much in common, if anything, and they're still going to fight each other, because not only are they vying for their own self-interests as groups and individuals, but they're also vying for their place in the stack. So like at the moment, gay men are at the bottom of the it's always going to be straight white men that are at the bottom, and then there's the other straight
white men don't even get a look in. They are they're in the rubble. Gay men are right, because white gay men are at the bottom of the pile.
Because now Good Morning Britain's going to replace Thingy, aren't they? What's
Schofield.
he called? Yeah, Schofield, I think.
Is it actually Schofield who's going?
I've heard rumours that it was him. People were saying it was him. I doubt it's going to be Tom Willoughby. Come on.
Because I know I did read that they are planning on changing one of them.
Yeah.
Or they're kind of doing it as almost like a rolling rota, where occasionally, they might take it in turns to be replaced by a new black presenter.
I bet it's going to be a mixed race person, and they're still going to complain. He's not dark enough. He's mixed race. He's not really black.
I remember they did that about Obama at one point as well.
Yeah,
They said he wasn't black.
Yeah. Well,
one of my favorite things about this, about going back to the Aunt Jemima thing, though, is the Twitter trend. The tagline was "Aunt Jemima brand is being removed to, in quotes, make progress towards racial equality." And I would like to know how altering the mascot of pancake syrup brings us closer to racial equality. I'm not quite seeing how these two things add up.
We're just going to remove black people from all branding, everything. That's the only way. The only person that will be left is fucking Chef Boyardee. That's all that's going to be left, because at the end of the day, nobody really gives a shit about the French.
This is all part of Mr. Clean's attempt to take over all branding.
Oh, Mr. Clean's a skinhead. he's a skinhead that comes into your house and cleans your kitchen and then tries to fuck your wife. He's promoting white supremacy and the breakdown of the family unit. It's clever.
The only thing cleaner than his kitchen is his genetics. He calls
himself Mr. Clean because he's cleaning up the trash.
It's rebranding to Mr. Purity.
Kills 99.9% of minorities.
We just clean up the gene pool.
God damn it.
He's basically just germophobic Moon Man.
Moon Man, can't you see?
Oh, no, let's not start singing Moon Man. You got to take it off YouTube and it made me...
This is like the spiciest start to any of my streams ever.
You have got me and Dankon,
Yeah,
it's Pills audience.
Needs it flashing up, just saying like not a racist. Oh god damn it! Right, so let's read some super chats real quick. British Knight with the £2. Sugar gliders are the superior cute animal. That is wrong. Zurindu with the $5 New Zealand. Good morning from the Democratic People's Republic of New Zealand. You can still get gollywogs down here. I'm getting 2 for my nieces for Christmas. Like, I think.
How does New Zealand, of all places, the place that completely cucked out on the Islamic issue, still have gollywogs?
Like, I think gollywogs are still being sold in the UK.
Yeah,
like it's the kind of thing that you would get at like a really twee, like seaside, like kind of shop, like a kind of middle market one, like not kind of like a working class one, but like a middle class one. Like I'm sure I've seen them still in windows.
Do black people just not go near the ocean? Is that what you're saying? I've not seen them for years, but you might see them in charity. I think there was a complaint of them in charity shops at one point, but I've never seen them new for sale in the UK.
Oh no, they won't be. I don't think they'll be new, but it'll certainly be like I've definitely seen them sold in the last few years. And British Knight again with the £5. Coco the monkey put before the firing squad by Antifa commissars. And then British Knight again with the £2.
Wow.
My number one fan. Noddy says yes to repatriation. Oh, thanks, dude. I really appreciate it. So before we move on, does anyone else have anything to add on the brands? Again,
my
brands.
I think they're going to replace them in gangsters or something. I tell you now.
Yeah, it's going to be Tyrone, the career criminal.
Oh, it's just all George Floyd, and he's going to be like dressed up as a saint or something. By the way, the site of his death is now a place where people get baptized. And I was told in the comments of one of my videos about him that he's not being martyred; he's just a symbol. Well, you know, a martyr is a symbol, right?
That's weird. Yeah, it's all going to be everything's going to be George Floyd branded now.
Saint Floyd, patron saint. I don't know.
One of the weirdest things I remember hearing about after Trayvon Martin was how aggressively his family defends this trademark. If you use any images of Trayvon Martin in anything, their lawyers will come for you.
Really?
Yes, really. It's very strange.
I think it's sick. How can you
that is really weird.
Yeah, they really heavily monetize and control like the use of his image and even his name. I know like multiple people who've got legal notices over using and just that one famous image of him.
Oh, they better not.
You will get lawyers.
They better not review it.
Yeah,
it's an icon.
Oh, it's time to oil up.
Give you me a good old rub.
I just wanted to... Because yesterday I found out there was an Ainsley Harriet chocolate bar.
It's called Chocolate Heaven.
Chocolate Heaven.
Yeah, boy.
My chocolatey goodness.
So long as they leave the Ainsley Harriet branded stuff alone, like if they kind of they came for Ainsley Harriet and to try to remove him.
They remove him from his own products. that'd be very ironic.
What about George Foreman grills?
Oh God,
lean grilling machine.
Lean fat pizza machine.
They'll just change it to a George Floyd machine, won't they?
George Floyd grills. Lean oxygen reducing machine.
Disavow.
Okay.
Oh yeah, there's just a pause and there's only Dank laughing. Oh no. Okay, I'm gonna keep this in my head.
Guys, I've already been cancelled like 17 times. It's fine. Don't worry.
Let's keep going.
All right. So, anyone got anything else to add on the brands?
I'm good for now.
I'm good.
Good.
I trust that Brand cares about us deeply and personally. I think we can trust Brand.
Do you know what I wanted to try and get going? I was going to sort of just brigade all these brands where they're like, oh, we care deeply about the LGBT shit. Look at the rainbow flag in our display picture. I wanted to get a movement started to basically say, if you really care, donate the entirety of this month's profit to a gay charity. Mm-hmm. And just proper call them out on it. And if they refuse, you can just do the whole SJW thing and go, well, guess you don't really care then. Cancelled. Just call them out on it. Maybe if you do that every year, it will make them fucking stop.
Were people making fun of like the vice president of Louis Vuitton virtue signaling the fact that he donated $50?
Of course, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He donated $50.
Like I'll admit, like Jeff Bezos, like compared to his overall net worth, like fucking, like compared to over his overall net worth, right? What he donated wasn't like that much compared to the net worth, but that was a fucking huge donation. That was a big fucking excellent donation. But I mean, if you're the vice president of Louis Vuitton and you donated $50, that is a little bit right. Come on now, that's fucking taking the piss.
Okay, so talking about LGBT stuff is actually quite a good segue to the next segment. So, this is Pride Month, and so this is the time to really kind of highlight and celebrate LGBT people, and you need to get your celebrations in because, according to the Independent, the government has now pretty much mandated state-sanctioned violence against trans people. Where the hell is the link gone? Here it is.
Is that like the opposite of Sam Hyde's state-sponsored homosexuality?
Make no mistake, the government is mandating state-sponsored violence.
In 2070, there won't be any trans people because we're just gonna kill them.
Weird state-sponsored violence. Is this? It's got like a vibe of like mandated mandatory cat girls to it. It's just a really weird way of phrasing it.
So basically, this is someone who is spurging out because the government is not going to be, or it sounds like they're not going to be, doing any changes to the Gender Recognition Act. And so because the government looked into it, they did a consultation, and they just kind of decided, nah, there's no need to make register non-binary and all the other genders as like officially recognized things. And so because of that, basically nothing changes. Nothing changes to the status quo at all. But simply because they didn't get their way, like they now have to basically scare everyone. Like, having had a look through this, it is basically nothing more than you didn't do what I want you to do. You are literally killing us. It's like the same way when like J.K. Rowling made a statement the other week and she was accused of literally killing trans people.
That line, I always think it's hyperbole, but they do actually say literally killing trans people.
They literally, they mean it. They genuinely believe that any disagreement is tantamount to murder.
Well, the last I checked, the biggest killer of trans people was trans people.
Statistically,
Hang on, guys.
I don't think it's code for they'll kill themselves. Do you not think that's just them trying to say that?
Well, guys, before we get 41% through this article, just to make sure we stay nice. What? Let's stay. I need us to stay nice and respectful, because I need to make sure you've got this author's pronouns correct. Have you checked?
I don't think this author puts
Queen.
Aaron
Yes.
Hughes. So his name is Aaron Hughes. I'm gonna shoot out and guess they them. I'm gonna see if I can find out who this person's pronouns are.
I have checked, and there are two correct answers.
What?
Because the Independent.
Is it Queen?
Is it Yas and Queen?
Disavow, Scrump.
My
Disavow.
pronouns are Yas and Queen.
Yeah.
I
will
will
say
say
that
she and her and they and them.
Ooh, that's half right.
There's a
Are they a Z and Z person? Have they got the alien pronouns?
them out.
I would say so. They're French. Il and Iel.
What?
And not, yeah. Il.
What?
Yes.
That's really weird.
As in,
I
back
guess
once again with the EL behaviour. It's
I won't speak.
true.
I don't speak frog, so okay.
Two
I will say
pronouns.
I mean, okay. Pronouns are like chromosomes. Having extra ones isn't anything to boast about. So, I will say also that anyone who knows me and Dank knows that we don't need our violence against trans people to be state sponsored.
Yeah, just do it anyway. You know, I'm a libertarian, so fuck the feds. I do what I want. Beat trans people all the time, all day, every day. Like I just start my day by punching a trans person.
The problem is that generally elicits an ooh-woo. So
yeah, it does. It doesn't help that my violence is usually an open-handed smack on the arse. It's not very effective. In fact, they kind of like it, I think.
I was also throwing headbats into that.
I keep trying to...
Go on,
go on, Mitch.
I was going to say, is your chat up line, life has many doors, femboys?
Okay. That's awful. We can't be Ralph. No, it's like Fed Boy, and it's him in Waco. That one's pretty good.
So back on topic, just for any kind of clarity, like before we said these people genuinely mean that they are being killed. Like that's what Eel says here. I don't use the word executioner lightly. Society is quite literally killing us. Trans women, and in particular black trans women and trans women of colour, are being attacked and murdered for being trans. And 48% of trans people have attempted suicide. So it's gone up by 4% somehow.
Oh,
what was that number of murders in England last year?
I think it was 1.
It would be 1.
I think it was 1.
1?
Yeah.
It was
The year
killing
before
trans
was also
person.
1.
And then the year before that was none, I think.
You are correct.
And the year before that, I think, was none as well.
Also correct.
And I think I'd be right in saying the year before that was also none.
Well, what that shows is in the last 3 years, we've only had one trans person being murdered. So all that establishes is that one trans person was really fucking asking for it.
Spicy.
You know, I'm getting the feeling this person does use the word executioner lightly.
me too.
Just a feel I've got here.
Like we are being killed and killing ourselves, and our blood is on the government's hands. We are being attacked for using public toilets. Every trans woman I know has been assaulted in women's facilities. Bullshit.
Really?
Bullshit. Like, according to this idiot, every trans woman I know has been assaulted in women's facilities. Now, I know a lot of tranners. I know quite a lot of tranners. Guess how many of them have been assaulted? In general, like, none. None.
We got to play a game.
Who goes
Those
in-
are
who goes
we
in-
should have popped those numbers
I
up.
thought going into a toilet for a fight was a 100% man thing.
Yeah,
Like in the
These
pub.
women-
Yeah.
How are these women going for a punch-up in the box?
Yeah, like men go into the toilet for a fight, women go into the toilet to take like 30 fucking selfies and call each other, you're so pretty! You're so pretty today! Like, fucking shut up, Samantha.
Maybe they only know one trans person. Maybe that's it. They've got like one trans friend who's an absolute man, and someone once told them to get out of the wrong bathroom, and they felt very assaulted by that. Maybe that's what they're saying, because that is a ridiculous claim.
I mean, to be fair, like, she doesn't use the word executioner lightly, so she probably isn't using that lightly either.
Why am I
No.
getting the image of like a medieval executioner with the hood on his head?
But yeah, the figures we're referencing are from your trans trans violence video you did, because you actually did look at the figures in England, and yeah, it was 1, 1, 0, and 0 for the last 4 years, which is
In fact, I think-
literally executing trans people, guys.
I think before 2018, the last murder of a trans person in the UK, I think, was 2013. It's either
Jesus.
2013 or 2014. Like there was a big gap between the murders, and it's
So,
why whenever there's a murder of a trans person in the UK every year, like it's almost like a lot of the trans movement like openly embraces it and kind of celebrates it, so then they have a name that they can shout out at Trans Day of Remembrance meetings.
Can we
Well,
point
the
out
problem
another
is
very
well-
important thing there?
Yeah.
It's always trans women.
Yes, it is.
And yet the whole movement, including this author who, states their identity, they all pile on like, gimme, this is mine. This is mine too.
Yeah. And on top of that, like she adds, as a non-binary person who is often read as a man and a survivor of
Doubt.
sexual assault by men, I no, this like, right. Let's see if we can get into a quote up.
Oh, who did they look like? They look like somebody. I can't figure out who.
Emma Thompson a little bit.
It's a bit
Really
it's very. It's like I am deliberately androgynous, and therefore people don't know what to call me. It's like it's no shit.
She looks
No
like
shit,
she's
Sherlock.
had too many spliffs. Like, oh man,
She looks like the Karen God.
Oh, Karen,
Like, that's what it
ascended
is.
Karen.
It's like when the Karen reaches like the final stage of the Matrix, she's in a room full of TVs and just turns around in a little chair.
She doesn't ask. She doesn't ask for the manager. She asks for the CEO.
I am the Karen. I have become. I am the beginning. I am the end.
You have a choice.
Another thing though is that I don't think this person actually knows what men look like. I'm being serious. Like when you look at the kind of people they hang around with, like the men in them groups are often people like Jacob Tobiah, who is let me just kind of bring up a picture of Jacob Tobiah for people who don't know.
Yeah, the idea of masculinity, it's never the good old down the pub terrace lads, popped collars. It's never that. It's a lot more bow ties.
I mean, it's even Wall Street. And they don't look like normal businessmen or anything like that. They look like tomboys.
Shit. Yeah, I don't think these circles are exactly filled with the Giga Chads. But it's a pretty warped worldview, and I will go into the fact that what's happened here is it's not there's been a legal change. It's not like protections have been rolled back. They just haven't extended it to self-ID because under the guidance of women's charities, they said, hey, that's a bad idea if people can just declare themselves women because that leads to all kinds of problems. I know Labour had a big controversy with that during the election campaign, because they basically splintered over the fact that they'd signed some trans manifesto. They're called Women's Place UK, a women's shelter charity, a hate group. And that really upset and cast out a lot of their traditional feminist vote. So it's basically become like femoids versus trans activists. And I'm hoping they fight to the death, to be honest.
That must make Erin laugh, because she was hounded out for daring to say that men can be victims too. And there's the Labour Party attacking this like massive shelter for being like transphobic. Wow.
It's sort of interesting because a lot of the components of the Labour vote, like the communities they're courting, not massive fans of this stuff. Like,
no.
If you try and get this through, this is going to be a real, wag the dog scenario. If you know that, that framing.
Oh God, Rose, what is that? That looks like a bad face app outcome.
And
that is Jacob Tobiah.
Could have at least had a fucking shave.
Pillars of the community when?
I know, I'm gonna have to.
Literal.
Like, I'm gonna have to. It's Jacob Tobiah is one of these people who's just kind of come out from nowhere. And he's Chloe will know who I'm talking about. It's like America's version of Travis Alabanza. Who let me find a picture of Travis Alabanza. If you think Jacob looks stupid, you haven't seen. Oh God,
stupid! Like it's your door.
I think it's the opposite of a trap, definitely. Because there's a lot of stuff. Oh God, no. I remember that.
Bonus Alok in there as well.
No one thinks them, man.
It's like Nish Kumar.
It reminds me of the whole the whole feminine beards thing.
Yeah. Oh, these people said. People who push it.
Yeah, it's like beards can be feminine too. It's like unless you're like a 65-year-old lesbian geography teacher, no woman has a properly like visible 5 o'clock shadow beard.
But like that just kind of illustrates my point. Like when this person says that she's been she passes as a man, she knows men. These are the kind of men that she's referring to, even though these aren't men at all. These are non-binary people. So they have no real form of reference to go off. Like Chloe said, like look at the way a lot of them dress, and it's all little dicky bows and like dressing kind of Edwardian. Like men don't dress like they're from the Edwardian times anymore.
They dress like the oppressors. No. They dress like bourgeoisie oppressors.
It looks like someone that refers to the other people in the house as the help.
And so I want to another bit which I kind of want to touch on as well. I think Scrump wants to touch on is what happened in America recently, because it's basically the same kind of point. Trans people didn't get their way. And so they pretend that the situation is a lot worse than it actually is. So here is, but basically it's this sex and race discrimination laws. Trump basically said they weren't going to take something up, but it was never put in the first place. Like
the headlines all read that Trump administration to eliminate non-discrimination health protections for gay and transgender patients. Basically, they were saying that gay and transgender patients can't get healthcare now. But the truth of the matter was that what had actually happened is they were reversing it's not even a law, it was a piece of guidance tacked onto Obama's Obamacare that said, even though the text of the document of the law said sex discrimination, they interpreted unilaterally sex discrimination to also mean gender identity. They just issued a piece of guidance that says sex now means gender identity, and extrapolated that into the legislation and said, right, now that we've decided that without anyone voting on it, this law now has the word gender identity in it. And the Trump administration was like, that's not what the law says. Also, it was put into effect in 2016, so it's not even a recent law. So if they're saying that this is literally going to kill all trans people, like, what happened before 2016? Did everyone just die?
Well, one of the cases that they always point to one particular case, which took place in the 90s, where a trans woman in LA was involved in a car accident. And the fire department, when they were cutting her out of the car, they had to cut her pants off, and they saw that she had a penis. And at that point, medical, basically what they called the hospital guys who appear at the scene, paramedics.
Yeah.
The paramedics basically just stopped treating her, and she was taken to hospital, and she ended up dying in hospital. And I think her family ended up getting a massive payout from the state, because even if they had just done some basic things, she probably would have survived. But that's the example that they use. But that happened nearly 30 years ago at this point.
Why did they stop treating her?
Basically, they just thought it was funny that she had a dick.
What, really? And they stopped treating her?
Yeah. I can't remember her name. It is really bad. It is really bad. But that... and
that was illegal, and they got sued.
They did. They got sued.
That's someone... You can't stop people from being complete dicks. And that's unfortunate, but it's not an example of, like, systematic discrimination. It's a couple of paramedics being completely unprofessional. What happened with this law was it was issued in October of 2016. There was an injunction placed on it in December 2016. So it was on the books and being enforced for all of 2 months. And the provisions never actually went into effect. And then the law was struck down again by the same judge in October 2019. Yeah. So the law never actually came into effect. No. Yet it finally being resolved and finally being removed from the guidance after essentially being struck down by a federal court. It's now Trump ban bad, Trump literally killing trans people and meaning they can't have healthcare. And that's the evolution this story went through. And I was really depressed when a bunch of people that are generally not terrible about things just bought into it and didn't listen when corrected. I had a bit of a about that because it really fucking annoys me when people don't read past the headline.
There's literally no reason for that part of the law to be in effect because they've already got anti-discrimination laws that cover all that. It's just more red tape, more bureaucracy. Why do you need that? And also,
I think the big thing with the Trump admin is they didn't want gender identity in the law. They don't think it should be there.
I don't think so either. I don't see why it should be. I don't think why any of these things should be law. Just let the businesses decide, right? And the ones that don't treat them will lose out anyway because they won't make the money. That's what always happens.
Well, it's already illegal. It's like that. I had a bit of a screech at Sean head because she's the person who talks about all this doubling up of legislation about the wage gap, and yet starts reading about the fact that Trump is literally killing trans people, despite this being a double up law that never really went into effect. It's the same thing, and I can't stand people who look at one issue, and go, oh, this is going to be my thing. I'm going to make this my cause. Then look at the exact same issue in a different area and say, wow, this is terrible. I completely buy into this. It's just like, oh, makes my brain hurt.
If she did, she wouldn't be voting for Bernie. Come on.
But we're seeing the same screeching at both sides of the Atlantic. Ultimately, both the Trump rolling this back and the GRC provisions not going ahead, nothing has changed in the situation at all. Simply because these people are not getting their way, they are declaring themselves the victims of state violence.
Correct.
And then they're putting that out to a community which they really reinforce the idea that these are vulnerable people. They tell us that these are very vulnerable, very weak people who can't barely leave the house without being assaulted. I mean, like that weirdo before said that every single trans woman she knows has been assaulted in a bathroom. So these are people who already live in fear. And then they're running articles in real newspapers. And if this isn't just a blog or Medium, this is the Independent. And they're telling people that, well, we now live in a state of fear.
Sorry, just making fun of I said real newspaper is a bit of a stretch when it comes to the Guardian.
You know what I mean.
I know.
There.
I'm sorry. I had to get my digs in. I had to get my digs in at the Independent.
But what we've seen from the official response, sorry to butt in there.
No, please.
It's like exactly what you say is on there. And the official response. The trouble is, it never tackles this key narrative, this idea that everyone in that group is genuinely facing, the purge every day. They never tackle that narrative.
No, they never question it. They never even give any kind of building upon it. Like in that article when she says that trans people are being killed all the time. Like, if that was the case, then she'd be linking to relevant articles in the UK. Instead, they make up, links about trans women of colour, not pointing out that these trans women of colour actually live in Brazil. They're just considered of colour compared to white people. Like, in Brazil, they're probably not considered people of colour. But they make up the bulk of the deaths because they live in fucking Brazil. They live in the favelas.
Yeah.
Every single year. It's just people who are always they're living in dangerous places. But they never ever make that distinction. And it's really, really dangerous that people still listen to them. And they never ask any questions, and they just allow the trans community to become perpetual children. Always scared in case someone disagrees with them.
It's relativism, and another thing is that they're all socialists. So when there's a problem for socialists in Brazil, a problem for socialists in America, that's a problem for all of them everywhere because they're internationalists. That's why they act the way they do.
And a lot of the time they will. You actually saw it in that Independent article. The author cited the Stonewall survey.
Oh God,
which turns out that it's basically trans apocalypse every single day. But I don't know if you've already covered that survey, but we've looked at it. It's classic. Just put out the call, hey guys, something bad happened to you, and no one's going to get in and they say, no, it was fine. It's like putting out a call for victims and you find victims.
Yeah. Well, because they're always told that they're victims. It's always reinforced into them every day. And then they're like, oh, by the way, just fill this in. Yeah. Just make sure that you're...
It's like call this number if you've ever been hit by a car. It's like Paul says 100% of people have been hit by cars. It's like, big thonk there.
Are we going to bring out Hitchens' rule here?
What?
Yeah.
Peter Hitchens' rule.
Without evidence. Yeah.
No.
Without evidence.
Oh, sorry, yeah. Sorry, the Peter Hitchens, the CHAZ Hitchens.
All right.
The
CHAZ Hitchens.
Polls are only ever used to influence opinions, not reflect them.
That's a good quote also, yes.
Like she put, you got the stats there for apparently very high levels of street abuse. You did not get the stat, there have only actually been 2 murders in the last 7 years in the UK.
Well, I don't know. What do you think, Dank, about them literally killing trans people, literally? Literally, it's
literally murdering trans people. I mean, I don't know. I'm divided on it because at the end of the day, murdering is fun, but I've grown quite attached to trans people, so I'm going to go down as a hard maybe.
Thanks, love.
Are you doing a Tim Pool here? Are you the fence Korean?
I'm a fence Korean.
Have you not seen?
Korean.
There's been people making fence Korean merch.
I actually really enjoy Tim. I made him fucking shit himself when I was hanging out at his house. Like you heard about like the crazy person that tried to break into his house.
Oh yes,
yes, I have. I've heard about Stalker. Yeah.
Well, basically, like fucking, I see how like he came in the night, he tried to get into Tim Pool's house and everything, and then Tim Pool like fucking the next day woke up, like decided to make a video. Someone tried to break into my house last night, and while he was filming the video, the guy came back. And tried to get into the house again, and then he fucking messages me on Twitter like, "Oh hey man, I heard you're in town. Yeah, come over to my house." Oh man, because I think he was shitting himself a little bit. Oh man, and I was like, yeah, I'll come over. And man, and I came to the house, and he's like, see how Tim Pool talks fast? Well, he was talking like 10 times as fast, man, like telling me everything that happened.
Do you think he did like a bump of coke or something?
No, I think he was clearly like very rattled by like what happened. Man, I'm just sitting drinking beer, like fuck it, it'll be fine, like it'll be all right. But then I wasn't allowed to smoke in his house, so I had to smoke out the front. So I went outside, had my smoke, and I came back in and went, "Tim, that guy's back."
You bastard.
Tim fucking flipped out, and I was like, I'm joking, man, calm down. Yo, bro, man, he's back, and he says he wants to wear your skin. Like.
He wants to reveal your bald head to the world.
Dank, I need to know, how many beanies are there? Is it just one beanie getting washed every day, or is it multiple copies of the same beanie? We need to know.
Can I be completely honest with you, right? Like when me and Sargon were in his house, we were like, we're going to see if he actually has a full collection of beanies, right?
I need to know.
And like we looked. And we were peeking around the room. You know, he had some standard room. He had clothes like lying around and all that. You know, like he's not extremely messy or anything. It was just your average room. It's a little bit messy. And we were just sort of peeking around everywhere and around the house. We did not see a single other beanie. We think that he literally just has the beanie.
Is that what the Stalker wanted? Was he there to steal the beanie and take his powers?
I don't know what it is. Does it work sort of like the fucking like the mask, except it's the beanie?
It's not actually Tim Pool, it's the beanie. The beanie is controlling him. It is the beanie doing all of this.
I think if he lost the beanie, he would not stream.
What if the beanie is what is left of his hair?
Like, does he have hair? I don't think I've ever seen him without a beanie.
There's a reason.
There's two examples of him not having a beanie. One of them is a really old picture where he uploaded it to 4chan saying "roast me," and he just sort of he has basically the reason he wears it is because he's going bald, but like, he's went bald, but like in the bad way. He's got like essentially like the 3/4 of a friar tuck.
Oh, the monk
thing sort of going. And the only other one is when what's his name? That fucking guy, Millennial Matt. Pulled his beanie off at a protest, and Tim went fucking apeshit at him. was like threatening to fucking hit him and shit like that, man. like I've never seen Tim like genuinely mad before, but like that Millennial Matt video, like Tim got fucking angry.
That's why he keeps the beanie on. It keeps his rage inside.
Have you seen Hitchhiker's Guide for the Galaxy when they go to that planet and then they put like a helmet on Zaphod? I don't know if anyone remembers that.
I don't remember. The film was terrible. I remember the radios.
Nerd. Says you.
I was going to say, what happens is if he takes the hat off for too long, he just climbs onto the nearest roof and just starts firing.
The one thing that I kind of remember from that like Minds thing was when you all went to Applebee's
with Sargon. Yeah, I can remember.
Oh my god, the Applebee's waiter thing.
There was one place that I got taken to, and I actually got kind of fucking mad. It was that famous. Apparently, it's a dead famous place as well, but it's like the Scottish fucking themed pub.
Oh,
like
God.
in fucking Chicago, and everyone's like, "Oh, Dank, yeah, you need to come, man. You're gonna fucking love it, yeah, right, man." And I just went, and I've never ever I've never been in a place that has shit all over my culture so fucking much, and I've been to fucking Parliament. I swear to God, I was just looking around it, and I was like, "You just grabbed a bunch of random shit and stuck it on the wall." That's what you've done, and like the girls are coming up and they're really, really scantily dressed, and man, and they're wearing tartan. And I was looking at this little bitch, and I'm going like that. I do not feel that you are from the Royal House of Stuart. Get that off. Man, but fucking yeah, fucking pleb. If you were really of royal lineage, you wouldn't be in a fucking dive bar shaking your tatas, you little fucking thought.
Oh god, I felt this when I was in San Antonio. I went to the quote-unquote British pub, and I was the first British person they'd ever had there.
Oh, do you know it?
I'm serious. I was the first British person in the British pub. Again, you're right. They're just dive bars with shit stuck to the wall.
Did you hear about Nuka-Levy, don't you?
Yeah,
I know.
Did you hear about what fucking happened to him?
I mean,
no. In what context?
Nobody's 100% sure what really happened, right? Even though there was people looking at him, and he was the one that experienced it, and even he's not sure what happened, right? He was just really drunk.
Some event.
No, it was so weird, right? He was really drunk and just like this is the thing is he was walking like very slowly and just out of nowhere. He just slams into the ground at 100 miles an hour, right? And everyone's like, "Are you okay?" He really fucked himself up. His face was bleeding. His fucking arms and elbows and shit were bleeding. And everyone's like, "What the fuck happened?" And he's like, "I don't know." People were like, "What the hell?" And for the rest of the trip, he looked like he'd been in a fight. He was just totally fucked up, and it was weird because he didn't just trip. He like slammed into the ground. Like it's almost like he threw himself into the ground on purpose. And for the rest of the trip, he just looked completely fucked up.
Did the ground look at him funny? Is that what it was?
It's called planking. It's called Scottish.
Come here.
I don't know.
Yeah,
fucking no idea.
Tried to fight the ground. Luckily, I've never done that when I've been drunk.
I'm all right when I'm drunk. I'm a Rose.
Let's not talk about the two times I've been out drinking with you guys because it usually ends up with me unresponsive.
Because that's happened to you twice, and the last two times.
I fell asleep the first time. I was just tired.
the first in Manchester, you just kind of went to bed and fell asleep.
It was really tired. Everyone was really worried that I passed out. I was like, no, I was just really sleepy.
There was another time in London.
I've been up for like 20 hours.
I remember there was one time in London, I remember sitting on a fucking couch, and I'm sitting, like, even though not so obvious, is sitting right across from me. I'm just sending him pictures of my balls and laughing.
Oh, was that when we were in the casino? That was when we were in the casino.
Yeah, Rose is on her 8th espresso martini, so she can see the future. And then she's fucking texting me later at night going, "Why am I awake, haha?" You had 12 espresso martinis, Rose.
Oh, God damn it.
Oh, God.
Oh, right. This has just become a recounting of our past sins. So I think the last thing really we have to talk about is the CHAZ / they've changed its name now, which is really disappointing. A lot of people are now trying to call it CHOP because they're bricking it that the US government will be like, "Oh, you've seized territory." So they're calling it the Capitol Hill what is it, occupied protest, which just sounds like Occupy Seattle. It comes across as very lame. There's going to be some girl called fucking Beetroot who's representing them, and everyone's just going to laugh.
Wait,
I
so
have
Beetroot
huge problems
is
with
their
that
new
name.
leader? They've got a new leader. I know they had that warlord for a while.
I was making a joke. There was some girl called, what was her name? She had like a really ridiculous name, like rhubarb or something. It was like a food, like a plant name. And no, it was. No, she had like a ridiculous name.
Rhubarb. Rhubarb.
What the fuck was her name? I've forgotten. But yeah, there was like that's how Occupy became a joke, and they're kind of going that same route. But yeah, the whole CHAZ/CHOP thing is funny because they've degraded it even further. They're a great advert for why anarchy is a bad idea. Because they were, I can't find it. They were having an argument. They were having a turf war over the dodgeball court, like children. Yeah. No, they were having a game of dodgeball, and then a fight broke out over who controlled the dodgeball court. Oh my! I'm not kidding.
Wait until they fight over the Lego Star Wars set.
Like that's the thing is, it's a fantastic example of why anarchy doesn't work. Like after 2 days, they ran out of food. They tried to plant that little fucking stupid garden, but all the plants just died right away. Like that. See that image of the plant just bent over, like just completely fucked. And it's just the 4chan post saying, "If only you knew how bad things really were." But then it's like people are getting mugged like all the time. Did you see that one of the guys sitting in his car like flipping out because he get mugged, and he's like, "Fuck this place, fuck you guys, get the fuck away from me! I can't even drive away because they stole my keys." And then someone got their fucking like Mac laptop stolen from their tent, and people were like, "Well, it was obviously taken by someone less privileged than you that actually needed it. Think of it as an unplanned donation." Shut up.
SoundCloud rapper restoring order, like becoming a warlord of the Capitol Hill. That was the best bit. And he's
apparently he got chased out.
Did he?
But then he came back and said he was now the fire brigade. So there it is.
Do you reckon they're practicing Lysenkoism? Like the plants are trying to cooperate with each other? Does anyone know what that is? Do you want me to explain it?
Unfortunately, yes. I'm a vegan, and that makes me cry. Look at that poor thing. I want to rescue it.
I and eat it, surely.
This is just...
we need an operation to rescue the CHAZ plants.
For just £2 a month, you can save a plant in the CHAZ.
This is a terrible press. I think we know what we need to do from the first thing. We need to rebrand CHAZ. Can I suggest a name change?
They already have them.
What about Chav?
How about Low Tijuana? Cincinnati?
No, it's
someone's already called
Somalia.
Somalia is pretty good. Yeah.
Somalia.
Somalia's one.
Like that was the thing that people were planning as well. Apparently, there was like American patriot groups that were planning on fucking arming up and going in and taking it back and shit like that. And that would be the perfect allegory for like fucking anarchy, because I've done that with like fucking anarchists that I've argued with, where I go, right, you're going to have a little farming commune, you're going to sit there with a little community, and they're like, yeah, that's what we're going to do. And I'm like, what's to stop me and all my friends tooling up and coming and taking all your shit and killing you? Oh, that wouldn't happen. I was like, yes, it will. We're a lot bigger than you. Oh, man, I'm going to sell you as a slave. Is that what you're going to do about it? Call the cops.
Have you ever studied cops? It's like, have you ever studied human history, for instance?
Yeah, exactly. Throughout human history, like anarchy technically kind of has existed for a long time, and the one thing that's always true is the people with the bigger army tend to rule a lot of shit.
Have you ever read, for example, a book?
Yeah, like Lord of the Flies, for example.
Oh, dear. It's amazing.
I had to pull up the picture of the racially segregated gardens.
Oh
God, yes.
We're fighting against racial inequality and racism, yet we're going to segregate our autonomous zone.
This garden is for black and indigenous folks
I posted
and their plant allies. It's fucking empty.
A lot of this stuff was like, how is this real? Like the unplanned donations thing. The
why did
I think it's phenomenal. I love everything about it. They've basically like that. That's the thing this is the thing that I've said that we should have done from the start. You want your little communist society? Okay, go. Here's some land. You go away and make it, and tell us how you get on. And the funny thing is, they've got fucking like rules that they call us far right all the time. They literally have immigration control, but they only like armed guards that deport people, like fucking don't let people in. And all that shit, except they take it even further. They refuse people based on like on their political ideology, which makes them more far right than most of the immigration systems around the world.
Yeah,
well, they didn't just argue about the dodgeball court. There was a massive, tense argument about who had the right to control the sign. Like they're arguing over every inch of this place, and it's amazingly granular. Oh yeah,
argue which sign?
The CHAZ sign, because they wanted to take it down and put up the chop sign. Because a lot of people were really strongly arguing for this chop thing, which I think is dumb. I've got used to CHAZ now. Don't take my CHAZ. It's a great reality show though. We need a CHAZ reality show. We also need after November when Biden loses, because he's gonna lose.
Yeah.
After Biden loses, we need to have a reality show where we put him in a fake White House and convince him that he's the president.
Oh my God. That'd be absolutely phenomenal. That'd be I want that.
Can I ask a question? Why cardboard? Why not just dig a hole?
Yeah. Like that's what I would do. Like, well, that's what you're supposed to fucking do. A plant can't grow in like 2 inches of fucking soil.
Oh my God, I've only just noticed. Yeah, they've literally just put like compost on top of cardboard.
There's no like barriers to protect from soil erosion as well. Like, there's a reason why when you see a garden pit, it has things protecting it, so the soil doesn't erode and they don't die. I'm not even a gardener, and I know this.
They're also using commercial plants which can't seed. So this garden literally needs every single plant needs to be replaced by a plant bought from the outside. They can't grow from seed.
Well, there's the picture I came across like this one.
So when the inevitable famine happens there, it's not going to be the Holodomor, it'll be the Bougemore or something. I don't know.
Well, they're using commercial plants that's the one. Yeah, if only knew how bad things. They're basically Monsanto genetically modified plants that can't seed. That's how they're designed. they're buying big agriculture GM produce, planting it, and can't seed their own stuff. It's just there's so many layers of how amazing this is.
It's a giant fucking red pill. It's just I feel like this is being allowed to happen purely because they know that everyone's going to fucking see this and realize how much their ideology just does not fucking work.
I can't be too specific. I have a little bit of inside information about that because at one stage they were a little bit worried if they did get armed and violent. There were some contingencies to take it back, but a lot of those have now been shelved because it's so funny. And that's literally the reason. They're like, this is too funny. This is completely non-threatening.
That's the thing. That's what I've said. Like, let them do it. It's a case of like, okay, then you want your real communism. Here you go. Here's your own little patch of land, and we'll be. And how long? It took them probably about 4 days before they went full fucking Lord of the Flies. And oh shit, man! Like they had fucking like people. They went, oh, we're doing this because the police fucking murdered George Floyd. And then you seen that Raz the Warlord and all his fucking friends just going around like beating the absolute shit out of people just for spray painting. They
beat a guy up for tagging. Somewhere that was already they beat a guy up.
They've barely been around, and they already have a warlord.
You know what's funny, Dank? Like you mentioned, Lord of the Flies. There was a study that came. Well, yeah, it's a kind of study. It was in the New Scientist recently, and they were trying to say, like, oh, people are just inherently good. You know, the Rousseauian, noble savage type thing. And I'm just thinking, you're trying to debunk the Lord of the Flies and Hobbes's view that the state of nature is like the state of war of all against all. Well, look at CHAZ. They're literally fighting each other over dodgeball. That kind of debunks your entire premise that people are inherently good.
Only these people should be so fucking pussy that in an anarchist society they would settle their differences over a game of fucking dodgeball. Just have you're all armed. I've seen fucking that warlord boy going around handing out AR-15s, and you choose fucking dodgeball.
Welcome to the Thunderdome.
I think the best thing to come out of CHAZ though was what happened to the preacher who went there.
Yeah, I saw that.
The street preacher. What happened is they are occupying this zone to protest the police illegally pinning down and restraining a person who later died, and they protest this by pinning down the street preacher in basically this like a similar type of chokehold and choking him out on the ground, and only stopping when someone points out what bad optics that is.
Yeah,
it's like they literally brought in their anarchist thug force police and choked out a dude for street preaching, and whilst protesting people being choked out. It's mind blowing levels here. It's like you couldn't make better anti-propaganda if you tried. Like you couldn't. Like people would say that was staged if it wasn't real. If we didn't have corroborating evidence of that, you'd be like, no, that can't be real. That's got to be fake. That's got to be propaganda. It's like nope, they actually did that. They are so unself-aware that they choked someone out on the ground.
Oh god! Does anyone have anything else to add on the Great CHAZ Garden?
No, I just can't wait until it gets Waco'd.
The doors, red boy.
I was wondering if anyone had ever looked up Christiania in reference to CHAZ.
Christiania.
What's that?
Christiania is CHAZ from 50 years ago. Well, kind of. It started in 1971 in basically this. An ex-military base in Denmark got squatted and turned into an anarchist commune. And it was started off very idealistically by people who were sort of in the peace movement, in the hippie movement, because this is 1971. And they effectively declared independence, and they kind of exist as a semi-independent state within Denmark. And this was getting sold to me as just absolutely amazing by a whole load of friends who are social justice inclined. I thought, okay, that's pretty cool. That's pretty darn cool. I'm in Denmark. Let's check this out. Shithole.
Wait, have you actually been there?
Yeah, I've been to Christiania. I was like, holy shit, I got to check this out. You know?
So what is it like?
It's a shithole. I mean, I think people in the chat is already talking about Amsterdam from The Wire season 3. You are not far off, my dudes. There's about 4 areas where people are trying to run cafes, which are heavily secured, and the rest of it is an open weed market with everything covered in graffiti, and nothing is cleaned up ever.
It just looks like Robocop.
If you look up on look it up on Wikipedia, a fairly healthy number of murders and gang fights. It's pretty CHAZ-tastic.
Did you say it was like Robocop?
Yeah, it's like Robocop slums. It's like Cyber City slums.
Christiania, I'll buy that for $1.
Where was this?
There you go.
Where did this happen?
Denmark.
It's Denmark. It's an ex-military base. The Danish government eventually said, look, you can't just squat here and make it. Like, they had a lot of tension because crime out the wazoo.
Well, I've just looked up the Wikipedia there, and it's like
it's
history,
pretty great, huh?
History 1.5 gay house.
Oh yeah.
Sea Land is a better place.
This is where we keep our gays.
This is the gay house.
Can't have them running around, running amok, going crazy, shooting people. In fact, it's ominous. 1.5 gay house. 1.6 2005 shooting in Murdoch. Fuck.
Right.
We'll say the entrance time looks like Arback McFry.
Oh my god, it really does. Shit.
One thing Christiania has over this is that they are actually paying for it, whereas CHAZ is just occupied, trapping a whole load of businesses in. Christiania is actually buying the land, or the residents of it are buying it back themselves, so it will actually be their property to destroy as they wish.
What you're saying is they're exchanging currency for private property?
Oof. That would be a good way of saying it, Scrump.
Proudhon would have disapproved.
Right. So, with that, is there anything else anyone wants to add on the CHAZ?
Death is preferable to communism, to quote Liberty Prime.
Death is preferable to CHAZ.
Right. So, with that, I think Scrump, there'll be time for your Scrump's good news.
I was going to say the only general good news I have this week, because this has honestly been a pretty miserable week, is that the UK and the US are actually doing really well with their coronavirus numbers. A lot of the worst of it hasn't materialized yet, and I think a couple of days ago our deaths were down into like the low 30s. I know we shouldn't be celebrating 30 people dying, but compared to what was supposed to happen, that's borderline miraculous. There's also new studies saying that sunshine and exercise is actually pretty much defeats it. So yeah, go out, get some sunshine, get some exercise, and it'll probably help quite a lot. So that's pretty decent news. Not everyone is going to die. I think that's the best good news I can give people right now, because holy shit, people are like rocking back and forth in their makeshift bunkers now. We have reached, like, it used to be people used to laugh at preppers. People ain't laughing now, I tell you what.
Right, so with that, I need to so there's two more things which we need to do before we wrap this up. First of all, we need to vote on who gets the seal of approval for this week. Now, I forgot to make a straw poll thing. I made it too late, so I couldn't put it in the description. So I'm going to need everyone to do, as awkward as this is.
Just link it in the chat.
Going, yeah, let me put it in the chat. Where the hell did I put it? It's going to say, I made it. No, I made it. I'm trying to find the link for it now.
You put the poll in the chat. God, it's like working with Dev.
Trying to find the poll. Like, I raid the poll and it's now disappeared.
Actually, no, I won't say that. Both Dev and Sargon have both at one point or another accidentally transmitted 15 minutes of dead air because they didn't realize the audio wasn't on. So,
okay.
That's always
right. Okay, I'll need to make another one really quick.
We'll just do it in the chat. We'll do like a shout out.
Okay, so who gets the seal of approval this week? 1 for me, 2 for Scrump, 3. Oh,
that was so confusing.
Okay, names.
That is so confusing.
Makes it easier. Names. So who gets the seal of approval?
I'm so organized there.
Do we get a full cheat list? Do we get like a little toy? As a seal?
You get a pat on the back.
No, that'll do.
Yeah, it's a participation award basically. Is this seal of the week?
This is the seal of the week. So the seal of the week is that baby seal, and he's fighting a big elephant seal.
Oh,
look at him!
He's mainly just kind of annoying him a lot.
Well, yeah,
it's like quit it.
Brave.
Quit it. Quit it.
Right. So far, only one person has voted.
Come on, guys. Only one. It's who do you want? Who do you think had the best take this week? Is it Rose? Is it me? Is it Chloe? Oh, even though they're called proper. Anyway, is it Mitch or is it Dank? Come on, give us.
Loads of them have just come through. Dank, Rose, proper, Rose, proper.
Dank. I voted for the seal.
Proper, Rose, Dank. It's actually kind of close between Chloe and Dank.
Rose.
I guess they really like the dad jokes. What do you know?
They seem to like dad jokes, yeah.
I think Dank has got it. Yeah. But it's very close.
Nice.
So well done. You get the Well, that is the highlight of your YouTube career.
Shall we finish up the super chats then?
Yeah, let's go through some of the super chats. So Makita Pterodax with the £5. Have you seen Mr. Peter Hitchens being an absolute chad earlier when he's being followed by a bunch of student leftists while walking around today? No, I haven't actually.
Yeah, I saw that.
I'll have to look.
They're all behind him, chanting him and flipping him off and doing all this, and he's just walking like not giving the tiniest shit.
His picture on the train was funny. He had this gas mask on, and his glasses on at the front of him. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen.
So Revenant with the £5. Guess who got banned from a Discord for not believing in white privilege? Lamau. Like, if you're getting banned from a Discord for not believing in that, then it's not a worthy Discord. Maybe, I don't know. Ramon took it with the $2. Blazing and watching the best YouTuber. Oh, thank you. James 88 with the $4.99. As a gay man with Asperger's, I can't stand some of this weapons grade rainbow autism coming out.
Fuck it hell.
No, that gets a seal of approval.
Thank you for that.
That in itself gets a seal of approval.
I say weapons grade rainbow autism is the name of my industrial speed metal band. So.
I love that. I love that. James 88 again with $4.99. Multiple gender identities seem to be making the trans community look like a joke. NBs remind me of the emo girls in 2007 who were bisexual for a week. Yeah. No, that is accurate. It is basically the latest trend. Like, give it a couple of years, and a lot of these MBs won't be MBs no more. And finally, Zurindu with the $2 New Zealand. Mogadishu is the capital of Somalia.
Nice.
Okay.
Someone just posted the Peter Hitchens video at me because Nigel Farage has tweeted, and it's pretty glorious. He is an absolute shad. It looks like he's leading them.
Let's see if I can. Let me get that up on here.
Oh, we've got a new super chat. Oh, Ligmavania is a funny colony.
Ligmavania.
Ligmavania.
I don't know whether it's playing the sound through it. Can people hear the sound?
No, can't hear anything.
No.
Okay.
He's just laughing.
This is.
You will never be this Chad.
Pride. Oh.
See, I've got a really good Peter Hitchens meme.
Oh, yeah. The other two super chats. So, Rymia with the $2. Ligmavania is a funny colony. It is.
Other Peter saying we stand Dankula. Fair enough.
Revenant with the £5 again. Thank you. Changing gender because it's trendy is like switching team because yours is losing.
I want to be on the girl team now.
Guys, I kind of screwed up. There was a thing on CHAZ I really wanted to mention just very quickly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Cool. Thanks. So the CHAZ Daily account on Twitter has great videos on this. And if you only watch one, please watch the guy giving the tour of CHAZ, where every single statement he makes is immediately contradicted by everything on the video.
Is this the guy who's talking about how it's like a farmer's market?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
God.
It's all peaceful. It's just peace here. It's just peaceful protest in front of a violent Antifa poster, talking about the glory of the toilets that are nice and clean daily. But he's not going to show you them right now because they're not sanitary. It's perfect. It's perfection.
It genuinely reminds me of the kind of like the socialist scholars who would go to places like the Soviet Union People's Republic and then write about it and go home and say how lovely the gulags were. Like, it really was the same vibe as that.
That was like the one that like people were trying to say, oh no, the Nazi death camps weren't that bad. Like, and one of them they brought
like a holiday guys.
And one of them they brought in a piano. No man, it's like, oh, that's fantastic. You get to listen to Hans playing Chopin as you're led to the showers.
Oh, there was the Goldsmiths LGBT group the other year that told everyone how wonderful the gulags were because they had, I think they had theatre groups or something. whichever one was made to take part in. So
I forgot my line. Gunshot in the distance and just suddenly hits the deck.
Somebody needs to add Staying Alive to that video.
Oh, what, Peter Hitchens?
Yeah.
Right, so
That would work pretty well.
So before we wrap this up, Chloe, you have a new video out, don't you? Oh, it was out yesterday?
Yeah. I'm a tiny channel. I pretty much just focus with entirely unnecessary depth on horror films. But I sort of broke my rule a bit and I put a little politics in. Reddit had a major announcement where they effectively said, screw the rules. If we don't like you, we ban you. And we'll make a rule later. And that annoyed me a bit. So I made a vid about that.
Chloe's channel is in the description, as is links to everyone else's stuff. Dank, how's that poll going for what your next course of action is?
Well, it's currently at nearly 100,000 votes, and it's 95% yes, so it's too early to tell.
Here's how Bernie can still win, guys.
Yeah, so it was just like, so yeah, that's probably going to go ahead. So I'm going to text my lawyer soon and say, yeah, go ahead with it. So I get to go to Europe, and I'm just scared that I'm going to be spending a lot of money to be told to go fuck myself, but this time in French. So, just need to wait and see.
Imagine if your Discord decides to like raid it and vote no.
Yeah,
that was people did plan to do that, but everyone decided not to because they were like, no, this is serious, don't.
Yeah.
so yeah.
So okay, so with that, like Mitch, have you got anything that you want to plug?
Latest video was out 2 days ago. Yeah, watch it. It's good.
Neat.
Oh, I'm gonna shill while I still can my new Twitter account. That's probably not gonna last very long because they never do. Go follow at Royal Scrump. It's currently 2016 over there, and I'm having some hilarious beef with the crowd who apparently still exists.
Consequences will never be seen again.
Into as well.
The chickens will come home to roost.
Yes, he said you were someone who thought black people were so. I don't think he actually knows who you are, Rose. I think he mixed you up with someone.
Well, we were saying before, it might be like Rage After Storm that he thinks I am, but he can't. Because he must know, he surely knows who she is.
Look, the Anglo
I have no idea. He got very mixed up, apparently.
Look, the reason he's angry is that the
Wrong
Anglo
number,
keeps beating the German. That's why.
It's always the case. 2 World Wars, 1 World Cup, a doodah. Get over it.
So there's one last super chat to read out. Nara 007 with the $2. Stan Mitch.
Heart. Love hearts.
Well, so with that, I want to thank all my awesome guests for coming on, Chloe, Mitch, and Dank. Thank you for taking your time out of your day to come and join me and Scrump. Congrats, Dank, for winning the seal of approval. You get a pat on the back next time I see you. And so with that, thanks everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you same time next week. Bye.
Goodbye.
Tschüss, y'all.